Again, I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, for thwarting the second Trump assassination attempt.
We've been going through a lot of it. We're getting very good at it, but I don't want to say that too loudly because we don't want to bring any jinxes along.
The former president last night on Fox's Gutfeld that aired after a big Trump rally, saying encounters with death.
They've only hardened my resolve to use my time on earth to make America great again.
In Uniondale, New York, the former president vowed to improve the economy and close the border.
It is truly an invasion, and we're not going to let it happen. We're going to take those violent people and we're going to ship them back to their country.
Vice President Harris is critical of that Trump plan.
The largest deportation, a mass deportation in American history. Imagine what that would look like and what that would be.
She addressed the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. The vice president has a 12-point lead among Hispanic voters in a new Fox News poll that also shows more voters by a 10-point margin support Trump immigration policy. Overall, the poll gives Harris a 2-point lead nationally, but she lost out on a labor union endorsement that typically goes Democrat. The Teamsters.
Neither former President Trump nor Vice President Harris will be getting their endorsement. The group polled its own members to get a sense of how they were feeling about the race, with the majority, 59%, saying they were backing Trump over Harris.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. It's up to at least 37 people dead in Lebanon, thousands injured from exploding pagers and walkie-talkies and Israeli sabotage.
Hezbollah has been promising retaliation, and we've seen some rocket fire come over the northern border, some drone fire as well, resulting in some injuries on the Israeli side. But it seems that Israel has been much more aggressive in terms of being offensive this morning. Israel struck at several targets in southern Lebanon.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. And rapper Sean Diddy Combs denied bail again in New York City. America's listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
It is back to the drawing board in Congress, attempting to pass a spending bill before October to prevent a partial government shutdown.
House Speaker Mike Johnson's bill to keep the government funded through March rejected in a 202 to 220 vote, with 2 members voting present.
The bill is not passed.
14 Republicans voting against the measure, 3 Democrats for it.
I'm disappointed. I know this was the right thing to do, and I think the American people are going to let a lot of the folks that voted no tonight hear their concerns about it.
Speaker Johnson accusing Democrats of voting against election security. The package included the SAVE Act, a measure requiring proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote in national elections. Democrats want funding without voting registration requirements, noting it's already illegal for non-citizens to vote. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
A manhunt in a densely wooded area of Kentucky is over. A body was found after they saw vultures circling and smelled something bad.
There were articles associated with the body that at this time we feel is Joseph Couch.
State Police Commissioner Philip Burnett on day 12 of the search for Couch, who shot at cars on I-75 near London, Kentucky, leaving 5 people seriously injured earlier this month. A former sheriff's deputy who smuggled drugs into jail is now in prison, sentenced to 6.5 years.
Robert T. Sanford Jr. admitted to drug smuggling at the Virginia jail where he worked, as well as a sex trafficking operation out of his apartment in Baltimore. In addition to the drugs, including fentanyl and cocaine, Sanford smuggled a phone to an inmate and tipped them off to other inmates who were cooperating with law enforcement. Prosecutors say Sanford also gave housing and drugs to opioid-dependent and homeless women in exchange for sex and money. Sanford apologized for his actions in a letter to the judge. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
On Wall Street today, after a half percentage point interest rate cut that sent stocks down, a surge up is brewing. Dow futures gaining almost 500. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. A 16-year-old recovering at the hospital after police say he was shot in Champaign. Police say the shooting happened at Bradley Avenue and Oak Street Monday. Officers got reports someone had been shot there, and when they arrived, they say the 16-year-old from Urbana shot multiple times in the torso. His wounds were potentially life-threatening. OSF Hospital in Urbana celebrating a new breakthrough in how people with heart complications are treated. All to new pacemaker, which makes it easier on patients and their hearts. It's the first of its kind in the area. The new tech has no wires, battery, or scars. The new technology works the same as traditional pacemaker, but it's smaller and leadless, which makes for less invasive installation. A Paxton man arrested for sharing child sexual abuse material. State police began to investigate 37-year-old Brett Sorensen after a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. After the investigation, an arrest warrant issued for Sorensen. He's being held until his arraignment hearing in Ford County. Get locally up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Hey, good Thursday morning. It is September 19, 2024. Glad you are listening.
Beautiful sunrise.
Yeah, lots to cover here this morning. Terry Schilling, a big proponent of family in America. That's coming up next. Let's check weather. Brought to you this morning by Carl.
Carl reminds you it's Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, so you need to have the talk or do a little research about the screening process at Carl Health. Learn more at carl.org.
Meteorologist Greg Solier on this Thursday morning, seeing a lot of combine harvesting going on, man. I see a lot coming in. It looks really ready in some parts for sure.
Yeah, and boy, the past couple of 2 or 3 weeks of this heat continuing to move the back 40 to maturity, also helping to remove moisture content if you want to get the measure correctly on the old meter there and not have to take it to the old drying facility. A few more pennies and bucks in your back pocket while Mother Nature continues to cooperate around here with low afternoon humidity, warm temperatures, good moisture reduction each day, and pretty good evaporative loss as well. All those are key ingredients and metrics that they go into getting the right time to go get the corn and then later on the beans, or first the beans and then the corn, depending on your planting schedule early on this season. Otherwise, there's a little more rain in the forecast, somewhat better coverages to help settle the dust, maybe a brief delay or two early to mid next week in the harvest sense of trying to get grounds to firm up again. They'll do so successfully. Better amounts across the area, and there is going to be a healthy, significant tropical cyclone somewhere between New Orleans and Tampa and up maybe in that northeastern Gulf, Big Bend area of Florida, mid or late portions of next week. Out the door this morning, another testimony to the warm, dry environs with low humidity dew points. Readings are up by day and down considerably at night. Out the door this morning, temps in the 50s, 59 now at Willard and Savoy, 57 Rantoul, 52 at Danville, 59 Bloomington. Normal forecast high today, much like yesterday, the day before, right up around 90 with sunshine, light southeast to south winds tonight, fair 63. A little more humidity boost tomorrow in the air may lead to an isolated late morning and afternoon shower thunderstorm back up to 89, 88 to 90 on Sunday, middle 80s on make that Saturday at 88, Sunday high of 86, first day of autumn, then some showers and thunderstorms late Sunday into Monday, maybe a crack at it Wednesday, high temperatures into the early to middle parts of next week in the 70s. We're into dry weather, by the way, over at Lincoln for football tonight with temperatures a little bit warmer as well, close to the 80-degree mark or a little bit higher for kickoff this evening. That tomorrow evening. Tomorrow. I can't get the day anyway. Back over to you to figure out the days of the week.
Thank you so much, Greg Solier. Illinois at Lincoln. It's Nebraska and the Illini in a ranked game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
And a sold-out raucous crowd.
President, American Principles Project, GOP strategist Terry Schilling joins us now. I didn't know you had 7 children.
I got 7 children and however many else God has planned for me. We've been praying to slow things down a little bit, just for temporarily, you know.
Well, John Schweppe was saying I have my 5th on the way, but Schilling has 7. So I said, well, you guys are living the life and you're trying to promote the family, and for great reason. It's very personal.
You know what? That's exactly right. It's when I'm talking about how much I love families and how important they are, I really am living that life. It's not, a lot of these groups are run by people that don't have any connections to what they're representing, and John and I both have very strong connections to what we're trying to get accomplished.
That's just awesome. Well, another assassination attempt on our president, and it seems like the media blames Donald Trump. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, look, yeah, because they're guilty themselves, right? This is, when Trump was first president, we heard the legacy media tell us all the time, this is not normal. This is not normal. Trump tries to do a border wall. This is not normal. Trump gives tax cuts to the Americans. This is not normal. They made up all these lies. They call him Hitler. They call him a white supremacist. And they whip these lunatics up into a frenzy with hysterical claims. And then they wonder why there are assassination attempts. I think the thing that's really not normal, Stevie, is that we've had 2 assassination attempts on a presidential candidate within 2 months. That's insane.
Yeah, it really, really is. They gave him full protection now, as if he were sitting president, which is good. But man, I'm telling you, it's you get a little nervous here down the stretch because there are a lot of people worried that if he gets in, a lot of them have done bad and wrong and against the law type of things, and they're generally consequences to bad behavior when you break the law in America. So a lot of powerful people are pretty worried about it. We'll see what happens here as we move down. But it was interesting last night. He's in New York. He's in Long Island. They had so many people there, and the enthusiasm is crazy. And he's really feels like, without the Teamsters' endorsement of a Democrat for the first time since '96, is there a demographic shift in America, Terry?
I think that there is a demographic shift. There has been, and I don't know if it's been that great for Republicans. And what I mean by that is we basically swapped a good portion of our voters. Republicans took on a lot of the low propensity working class voters. These are people that are usually disillusioned with the whole election process. But if a candidate like Trump comes along, they get really fired up. But we gave the Democrats the low IQ, suburban voters who just believe everything they hear on the mainstream media. But those voters are very high propensity. They show up even when they don't know who the hell's running, right? And so there has been a big demographic shift. And I'll tell you what, Stevie, the Media Research Center, my good friend Brent Bozell, they released an analysis of the media coverage for this election. Kamala's gotten 84% positive coverage. Trump's gotten 89% negative coverage. And here's the hope, Stevie, is it's still a jump ball.
Yeah.
Right? In any sane world, with that type of coverage, Trump would be at 25%. But because the American people are right and they're strong and the founders were right to put a lot of faith into them, they're not believing the narrative from the legacy media. So Trump support's resilient, even against all this media coverage. I'm really optimistic going into November. I think we're going to pull it off.
Oprah Winfrey talks to Kamala Harris today. I don't know if you've seen old clips of the Oprah Winfrey show when she used to have Donald Trump on, but she really liked Donald. Do you think you'll run? I mean, it's just unbelievable what a hero he was until he ran for president. Then they made him Hitler and the devil.
No, Oprah Winfrey helped him launch his entire presidential career, right? I mean, that is the truth. And there's so many other leaders like that. And this is the tell, Stevie. When you have those types of leaders who have now all of a sudden shifted and switched, those are not thought leaders. Those are establishment hacks. They go along with the flow. They do not lead the flow. They have followings, but they're taking orders from someone else. They're worried about fitting into their cocktail parties and what their associates and their colleagues think of them. And that's ultimately what drives them. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, these guys were giving Trump awards before they started claiming that he was a white supremacist. So, you guys gave him these awards, so how much should we really trust you now that it's come out he's a white supremacist?
No, it's crazy, and he is an amazing figure for the time. It's unbelievable. Donald Trump being able to continue on after 2 assassination attempts and just unbelievable attacks. He said last night on Greg Gutfeld, finally, Terry Schilling, the Tapman's Towing phone line, he said last night, if I don't get over what people say about me, I won't have anybody to talk to. It was very funny. Terry Schilling, how can people find the American Principles Project?
Very easy. AmericanPrinciplesProject.org, or you can follow me on X and Twitter and Instagram at Schilling 1776. SCHILLING 1776.
Keep producing, keep protecting the family, Terry Schilling. Great talking to you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, we jump to our morning sports headlines. Diane Ducey.
A good night for Jordan Walker, who is on our Cardinal Caravan. 10-5, the Cardinals beat the Pirates. Let's get your Redbird recap.
With Ricky Orton, I'm John Rooney. Tonight, the Cardinals go for a 4-game sweep of the Pirates. The Cardinals were down 5-4 until the 7th inning when they rallied for 6, 3 on a Jordan Walker double, and the Cardinals beat Pittsburgh 10-5.
Mason Wynn led that inning off with a home run. That was a big blow. Cardinals just continued to keep the line moving, but it was also Michael McGreevy coming in to pitch the last 3 innings. He picked up the win. He has 2 big league appearances now. He's 2-0. He was outstanding. He had 3 strikeouts in the 9th alone.
Sonny Gray left with the lead, but it was Billy Cook hitting his first Major League home run. That came off Matthew Liberatore that gave the Pirates a very brief 1-run lead.
Yeah, the Cardinals bullpen has been so good. That was a blip for Liberatore. Sonny Gray pitched better than his numbers indicated.
On the mound tonight, it's going to be Eric Fetty, 8-9, against Luis L. Ortiz, 6 up, 6 down. 5:20 for the pregame. 6:05, Ricky has the lineups. I'll bring you the first pitch around 6:15 as the Cardinals go for the sweep of the Pirates. The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
So the A's beat the Cubs 5-3. And that means the NL Central crown is now for the Milwaukee Brewers?
Yeah, they won the crown officially yesterday. They clinched, but that was a foregone conclusion. What the Cubs and Cardinals had been trying to do is get into the wild card picture, and they're moments from being eliminated. Well, they're not. They could win the rest, and the Mets could lose the rest. I mean, it's not going to happen.
I knew you could clarify, because I thought with Milwaukee in the postseason that now...
It's wild cards. There's 3 wild card teams that make it, the 3 best records. So it is not going to be the Cubs or the Cardinals this year. They're just Cardinals trying to finish as well as they can. And for the Cubs to lose to the Oakland A's, which they're certainly not the White Sox, but they're one of the worst teams.
I see.
So you don't want to lose to the Oakland A's if you can help it. But then again, the White Sox went to St. Louis earlier this year and took 2 out of 3.
That's right.
You forget that.
You just never know.
Yeah.
So 6:40 against Washington, and you'll hear the Cubs action over on US 105.9. LA Angels over the Chicago White Sox in 13 innings. 4-3 was the final. So 36-117 for the Chicago White Sox. And I think 120 is the number to beat if they want the most losses in the record. Of course, number 24, Illinois, and number 22, Nebraska, tomorrow night.
They showed the White Sox, and I think you could count 14 people in the stands. I'm 14. I don't know if that was pregame.
Wow.
Weather brought to you by Busey for over 150 years. Member FDIC. We'll check your Fox Business Minute in just a moment. It is Thursday morning. John Decker coming up in about 10 minutes.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois, Champaign, and vicinity, and a little more action on the weather maps and charts over the back end of the weekend, early next week with regard to rainfall prospects. Nothing, though, to significantly curtail early season harvest operations. We'll see a downward trend in temperatures to more seasonal expectations, and the tropics coming out of the southeastern and eastern Gulf and up the eastern seaboard becoming quite active mid to late portions of next week. In the meantime, for the day-to-day, another very warm to hot day's worth of weather and a high temperature expected to top out across the area right around the 90-degree mark. Light east to southeasterly wind becoming southerly. Fair 63 for tonight. Tomorrow, very warm, more humid, becoming partly sunny and isolated late morning and afternoon shower thunderstorm. The high back up close to 90. 60s tomorrow night, partly sunny, warm 88 Saturday. Daytime hours, Sunday, dry, partly sunny and 86. Then showers and thunderstorms in here for Sunday night and Monday. High temperatures Monday around 80. Back in the 70s next Tuesday and Wednesday. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
You've set your financial goals. One kid plans to go Big Ten, the other Ivy. Your bucket list includes seaside sunrises and sunsets on the slopes, or perhaps a second home away from it all. Busey Bank can help develop the right investment strategy to take charge of the years ahead. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
I'm Elizabeth MacDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The Bank of England this morning left interest rates unchanged. It had lowered rates in August for the first time in 4 years. Here in the U.S., applications for mortgages to purchase homes and for refinancings have jumped as the Federal Reserve cut its key interest rate by 0.5% yesterday. Economists say much of the rate cut was already baked in, though, and it would be surprising to see a substantial drop in mortgage rates this week. Barron says if your rate is 6.9% or higher, it could pay to refinance. Amazon is raising base pay for its fulfillment and transportation workers. It's going up by $1.50 an hour to more than $22 an hour. Also, hourly team members in the U.S. will receive Prime membership at no additional cost. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosilda. Invested in you.
This week on the Brett Baier Podcast, join me, Brett Baier, and Wall Street Journal editorial board member Bill McGurn, Fox News audio political anchor Jared Halpern, and Fox News political analyst Juan Williams as we discuss former President Trump heading back on the campaign trail after facing a second assassination attempt and what can be done on Capitol Hill to address political violence. That and what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, all available now on FoxNewsPodcast.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
Solar companies are on the rise, here today and gone tomorrow. Rector Solar and Roofing family roots back 4 generations, living and working in Central Illinois, with the goal to take the confusion out of replacing a roof or adding solar panels to your home or business. With all the incentives and rebates now available, solar is more affordable than ever. Let a knowledgeable representative take the worry and guesswork out of solar and get a free quote. Discover the Rector Factor for Solar. Call 217-281-7000 or visit rectorsolar.com.
Hi, Ellen Hook here, owner of your local Ashley. I have a big announcement. The Champaign Ashley store is getting a fresh new look, and you're invited to the remodel sale. Right now, save up to 65% off furniture and accessories throughout the store, with hundreds of items in stock and ready to take home today. But that's not all. Join us outside under the carport every weekend in September and October for extra savings on select furniture. It's all happening at your local Ashley in Champaign at 602 West Anthony Drive. Hurry into Ashley because these deals won't last long.
Yeah, okay, so 723, the Chicago Bears can be heard on radio this year on Q96. We got them across the hall. And they're playing in Indianapolis this week, so you can go play them, go over to Indy if you want. You can probably get a ticket.
That's right.
Anyway, Bears on radio. Jeff Joniak will jump on with us Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Okay, cool. I know Jordan Love with Green Bay, it's practicing again.
Wow.
I know.
Okay, then.
Pretty quick turn. It was limited, obviously.
Still.
But
taking snaps. We have football tonight. I think New England at the Jets. Is that the game tonight?
It's New England at the New York Jets.
So Aaron Rodgers is watchable.
Mm-hmm.
He's 40 years old, so it's like, be careful, honey. Mm-hmm. Yikes. 40 years old, taking on the rush of the NFL linemen.
That's right.
That'd be flat out scary. Donald Trump was on Greg Gutfeld last night. I think it was a great move to have him on that show. It's a whole different format.
Oh, yeah.
And you thought, well, Greg Gutfeld's going to sit down in the chairs and look back like everybody else.
Nope.
He put him on the panel.
That's right.
So you had Tyrus, you had Kat Timpf, you had...
Tyrus looks so big next to
Emily Campano, who's been on a show before.
Yeah.
And she has a new book out, which hopefully will come around and do another interview.
Okay.
Anyway, Kat Timpf asked President Trump if Area 51 is true.
Good for her.
And
what was the answer?
He said, it's the most asked question I get. And he says, I don't know. He said, I'm starting to be a believer in that because I talked to... I'm going to play this clip in the 8 o'clock hour from the Gutfeld show last night.
Okay, good.
On Fox. Anyway, he said, I'm talking to these Air Force guys, these pilots, and they're perfect haircuts and perfect body. I mean, they're just great, solid people to be an Air Force pilot. He said, "Sir, I don't know what to tell you, but something circular went by me at 4 times my speed on my F-22, and I think their F-22s go, 1,300 miles an hour or something?
So it's like not a drone.
No, I don't think a drone would pass an F-22.
I was trying to.
So, but something circular
verify.
passing me, and so if the guys are telling you that, you're going, what was that?
Right.
And that all we would do is say, what was that? We have no idea.
Right.
So he was funny. You have to be quick-witted. You have to come up with stuff because it's a spontaneous kind of a thing. But you also got the you got stuff that you'd never get anywhere else.
Yeah.
The president doesn't wear pajamas.
Oh, really?
So I don't know what that means.
Okay.
He's just in.
I mean, it is more comfortable.
I guess. I mean, but you're in your boxers or whatever you wear. I don't know.
You're naked.
Well, I don't know who. Really? I don't know about.
Yeah.
You sweat a little bit. Maybe it's by something.
That's
cool.
okay.
I don't really get into asking people what they wear to bed, but it's up to you.
I guess I won't tell you what I wear.
No, I don't need to know. It's okay. I don't want to know. And I don't. But the fact that he'd answer that, because you could see the president in a flannel pajama.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, I think Kamala Harris should do. She's going to be on with Oprah today. It's going to be an online thing, which I'm curious about because anybody that had a chance to pick up an Oprah Winfrey would pick it up. So I'm wondering, she has her own media empire, but I don't know. It's curious to me why that wouldn't be on a major network.
She just did an AI in the future of us Oprah Winfrey special recently.
Yeah.
Like 6 days ago, and maybe this is like a new thing that she's got her own thing going on.
She's got an empire. The woman is a Sicilianaire, and she's unbelievable story.
And why not?
Talk show host from Chicago, Illinois turns into that. Obviously, the success story, and obviously, we talked about that. What if Oprah ever ran for president? I mean, she'd be pretty formidable.
Agreed.
Okay, so.
But I wonder how that looks. If Kamala's, shooting the bull with her or whatever.
I don't know.
Does Kamala, pivot into when I was growing up in a
middle-class family?
Exactly.
No, there's memes out there when Benjamin Netanyahu was asked something serious and then they put in his mouth, I was born in a middle-class family.
Right.
So that's now out there.
That's the standard answer.
Because she said it like 5 times. I know. Keep saying the same things at these different venues. So anyway, we'll see. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people streaming that, but RFK Jr. has said a few interesting things recently as well. Apparently, he's being sued for something that happened 20 years ago.
Uh-oh.
Statute of limitations been over by 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And somebody in the government suing him. So that's the life of RFK Jr.
Yes.
If you push the wrong way. All right, we're going to check with John Decker. He's next. Great Television's White House national correspondent. John Decker on this Thursday coming up.
In an ever-changing real estate market, it is so important to work with experienced agents like Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at Taylor Realty Associates. They have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at Taylor Realty Associates. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
If you're in the market for a new car battery, you could go to one of those big box stores, except there's no guarantee you'll be served by an actual car expert.
Clean up in aisle 3.
You could pick a battery off the shelf, except it might be close to expiring. Or you could just come into Interstate. Don't make a big box store blunder. With competitive prices and a more personal, reliable approach, Interstate Batteries is the clear-cut choice if you want to guarantee yourself a new and trustworthy car battery. They're open and ready to serve you at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign.
This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. We are honored to be celebrating 15 years of service and want to thank all of our amazing clients for their confidence and trust. We look forward to meeting the needs of current and future clients in the years to come. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
When it comes to finding a reliable vehicle, look no further than Sarah Champagne, your trusted automotive destination. They carry a lineup of top brands including Honda, BMW, Subaru, GMC, and Buick. And they're not just about cars, they're about people. Their team is dedicated to providing you with trustworthy service and dependable vehicles that fit your lifestyle. Experience the difference at Sarah Champagne. Visit Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, champagne.com.
Golden Nugget Casino is your winning destination for fun and fortune. Since our grand opening, we paid out over $23 million in jackpots to more than 10,000 winners. In July, more than 800 guests won jackpots totaling over $2 million. Golden Nugget Casino, the best place to win. Located just off I-74 at the Illinois-Indiana border in Danville. Not valid for any participant of the Illinois Gaming Board statewide voluntary self-exclusion program. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Vice President Harris is beating former President Trump nationally 50-48 in the new Fox News poll. The biggest change, more independents and Hispanics moving from Trump to Harris.
The economy remains the number one issue of voter concern, and the former president is favored on that issue by 5 points, but the VP is favored on uniting the country, helping the middle class, and protecting rights and freedoms. Over 1 in 5 self-described non-MAGA Republicans are not voting for former President Trump, though his support among black voters is now at 29%.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal, a man wanted for shooting 5 people driving on a Kentucky highway September 7th, is believed now to have been found dead in the woods by a couple looking to collect the $25,000 reward.
There were articles associated with the body that at this time we feel is Joseph Couch.
That's Kentucky State Police Commissioner Philip Burnett. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Champaign City Council voting to pursue the creation of a new TIF district to allow expenses spent designing the C.S. Johnson Factory redevelopment to be TIF eligible. The former C.S. Johnson Factory at Springfield Avenue and Kenwood Road was built in 1931, but closed in 2005. Plans for a downtown area in Savoy are inching closer to reality. After a special meeting, developers have a better idea of what will fill the village's Route 45 corridor near Church and Dunlap. Downtown Development Group's been conducting public surveys since June on what should fill the 5 new planned buildings. A Paxton man arrested for sharing child sexual abuse material. Illinois State Police began to investigate 37-year-old Brent Sorensen after a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. An arrest warrant was issued for Sorensen. He's being held until his arraignment in Ford County. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
All right, thank you, Jim. We check our weather with meteorologist Greg Solier in the summer-like, officially fall Sunday, but we feel in summer now. Let's check weather brought to you by the Urbana Park District.
Take a Child Outside Week starts September 21st, Saturday, and there's a lot of great options for you, including games, fishing, and a bubble bonanza. Check out the details at urbanaparks.org.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois. Champaign and Van Ham is Saturday. Another day's worth yesterday of daytime readings close to the 90-degree mark. We'll do it again for the day today. And readings still well into the 80s, about 10 to 12 degrees above average right on through the weekend. Pattern shift around here with a cooler air on the move and preceded by some better coverage. Shower and thunderstorm outbreaks between late Sunday, Sunday night, and Monday. Nothing to significantly curtail outdoor work and early harvest in that sense. Otherwise, tropics getting active could be a healthy headline-making tropical cyclone up out of the eastern Gulf and along the eastern seaboard of the Appalachian Trail at some point mid or late next week. In the meantime, mostly sunny, hot for the day today, back up around 90. Light southeast to south wind down tonight to 63. Warm, more humid for the day tomorrow at 89 to 90 again. That'll be hot here for mid to late September. Isolated shower, thunderstorm late morning and afternoon. 88 Saturday, partly sunny, 86 on Sunday, then Sunday night into Monday, showers and thunderstorms. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Meteorologist Man. Illinois plays in Lincoln, Nebraska tomorrow. Illinois ranked 24th. The Nebraska Cornhuskers are 22. Nebraska is an 8.5-point favorite. It should be 80 degrees at the kickoff. Very nice weather. And Lincoln sold out again. They always sell out in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's Thursday. John Decker. John Decker. John Decker. I want to talk to John Decker. He is the one we know. I want to talk to John Decker. He's at the White House in press room.
John Decker. John Decker.
Yes, even children in combine singing the theme. Ladies and gentlemen, Great Television's White House correspondent, national correspondent, the man on the spot doing all of those reports for all of those TV stations. We do not, sadly, yet have a great television station in our town yet. John. So.
Yet. But we could probably still poke around and see him on
you
the
go to
internet.
graytv.com or gray.com.
Absolutely.
Whatever that
Yeah.
master website.
That's right.
But he's kind of the big dog now. Kind of the big dog. Rides on Air Force One.
I like it.
Does all that good stuff. Well, so you asked a question yesterday of Karine Jean-Pierre about what if Republicans don't accept the outcome? And I would say, what if the Democrats don't either? What then?
Well, that was part of the poll, and I made a point of saying that there, was a significant percentage of Republicans in this poll, well-respected poll, which indicates that it wouldn't accept the results if their candidate loses, and also a significant percentage of Democrats as well. And so, to me, that's problematic. I mean, I think we have to believe that the election system in this country is free and fair. Otherwise, we're just buying into, what would be Vladimir Putin's dream, a divided America, not even trusting our system. So that's the reason why I asked that question. That poll really got my attention yesterday.
I just wonder, obviously there are things we could tighten up. I just wonder why we have so much. We invented the telephone. We fly airplanes. You can make a system that is absolutely infallible if we wanted. Why don't we want to? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Shouldn't it be in a perfect world? Shouldn't it be like when you go to the ATM machine and you just figure out, hey, what's my balance, right? And it tells you right away what your balance is.
Right.
Well, shouldn't it be when the polls close at 7? At 7:01, shouldn't you be able to press a button and essentially say, "Well, who won?"
Exactly. No, John, you can't. We have that within our capabilities. I never understood why we don't do it.
Yes.
I don't understand.
It's very suspicious.
You could make it, but see, that opens it up for that kind of talk. It's suspicious. It's conspiracy. We don't want any of that either.
Right.
But I refuse to believe the United States of America can have the best, most incredible system that is infallible,
absolutely
unhackable, the whole thing, and so. Because it's just Jamie Raskin. Did you see what the guy said? He's a congressman from somewhere? I don't know, Maryland. Where
he's from suburban Washington D.C. He's from Maryland. Yes,
yeah. He said
not far from where I live.
He said if Trump wins in a landslide, we're not going to whatever they do January 6th, ratify it. We're going to turn him away anyway, and then we have to prepare for civil war. This is a sitting member. Why are we talking like that?
Right.
And by the way, memo to self. The Civil War is never happening because whoever controls the army wins the Civil War. We're past the musket time and the swords and things.
I don't know. I saw the movie and it freaked me out, Stevie.
You can't have an uprising against our military. It's over. Those times are over.
They were divided in the movie.
Well, if the army's divided.
Right.
Anyway, John, we don't...
Which movie?
It's Civil War.
It's called Civil War.
It's Civil War.
Weren't you the only one in the theater?
I was.
Yeah, Diane was the only one.
And I thought it was about Civil War, like Lincoln and all that. I had no idea.
Didn't reid the synopsis.
Exactly.
But John, we don't. That kind of talk from a congressman probably isn't helpful.
I didn't see those comments, but if that's what Congressman Raskin said, no, that's not helpful. I don't think it's helpful. When Democrats say those things, not helpful when Republicans say those things. It's just unfortunate. But to me, that is one of the things that I'm concerned about, post-election, post-results, in terms of making certain that it's just, not like what we saw after the 2020 election. I hope beyond hope that that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Okay, John Decker on the Tavin's Towing phone line, ESPN 93.5. All right, so Oprah does, I think, an online with Kamala today.
Yeah, in Detroit.
Right.
In Detroit. I'm wondering why that's not on broadcast television, because Oprah could probably get any network. All she'd have to do is call somebody. But anyway, so she'll do that. What impact does that have? Does Oprah helped Barack Obama a lot. Does she help Kamala the same way today?
I don't know. All these celebrity endorsements, Oprah Winfrey, Taylor Swift. I don't know. I don't know the extent to which, as you know, most Americans have made up their mind. They know how they're going to vote, whether it's early voting or whether it's on November the 5th. They know how they're going to vote. There's a small sliver, very small percentage of Americans who don't know how they're going to vote when they ultimately cast their ballot. Maybe it has some sort of impact for them. Maybe it energizes certain voters. But I generally don't think that endorsements, celebrity endorsements, count for a lot in elections.
And what about the impact of the Teamsters not endorsing Kamala as they always do? They're staying neutral, they say, even though their membership seems to really promote Trump.
Which I feel like should be for everybody. Why are we endorsing anybody?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, as it relates to unions, the leadership makes an endorsement. Does that impact if you're a rank and file member how you're going to vote just because your leadership has endorsed one candidate or another? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, it certainly helps in terms of when you make an endorsement and you're one of those unions, they've got a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
so they can use that money in terms of organizing, in terms of advertisements, all of that. But in terms of encouraging the membership to actually vote for the person that they've endorsed, I don't think that happens anymore.
Yeah. Donald Trump on Greg Gutfeld last night, and it felt kind of like an Arsenio Hall saxophone kind of moment where it was just, I like that. I think Kamala Harris should do that, where they really get into, do you wear pajamas at night, Mr. President? I mean, stuff where you get stuff you never hear. And that is kind of funny and kind of loose. And the president smiled, which I haven't seen in a while. Former president smiled. So I think those kind of endings, they're very careful how they pick those, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, they are careful. You know, it's time. Time is so valuable in a presidential campaign, especially we're under 50 days now.
Yeah.
So you have to manage the time of the candidate, the time of former President Trump pretty carefully, as you have to manage the time of Kamala Harris pretty carefully as well. So interesting choice, but, you know, maybe that's a good description, you know, an Arsenio Hall moment. You're referring to when Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall to play a saxophone. That was different. We never saw anything like that.
He was actually pretty good, too. He was good at saxophone.
He was.
He really was.
I agree.
He had the sunglasses, the whole thing.
I remember that.
It was a memorable moment because it was so off the beaten path for what they normally do. And I think that I thought, well, Greg Gutfeld's going to have a one-on-one, put the two chairs there just like everybody, and he put him on the panel, which is like, because sometimes Greg Gutfeld's way too crude for me. Okay, but he's a very talented writer, and when he gets monologues going, they're well written and all these other things. And he doesn't look 60. He and Tim Walz are the same age. They look the same age.
Oh wow,
it's a weird kind of a thing. You're going, man.
Yeah, no, he's funny. He's pretty funny. And you may recall before he ever got into politics, Donald Trump used to be on Howard Stern all the time. So it's not. It's not anything new for him to, be in that format.
He mentioned that how he was on Howard all the time.
Yes.
And he said, if I don't forget what some people say about me, I won't have anybody to talk to, which was very funny. Because he said, and Greg Gutfeld said, I said bad things about you, horrible things. And he said, you weren't so good early. You weren't so good.
Well, and actually it looks like he called out Howard Stern for going woke these days.
Yeah, he said he went woke on me. So that's kind of what he said. But I used to be on all the time. He said that his best of shows, which I don't want to promote, he said I have a lot of me in there.
Right.
But anyway, so he had a crowd in New York, Uniondale. I mean, he's not going to win New York. What's the purpose of doing a New York rally?
Well, I think the purpose, I'm just going to give the Trump campaign the benefit of the doubt here, because I question, going to New York when you should be in North Carolina or in Michigan or Wisconsin, and it really is zero sum. If you're in New York, you're not in those battleground states. But again, giving them the benefit of the doubt, I think it's perhaps to energize the Republican vote in certain congressional races in New York State, because New York State really determined control of the House of Representatives in the midterm elections of 2022, and it could impact who controls the House after the 2024 election. So maybe that's what that's all about when all is said and done. But again, if I have if I'm managing Donald Trump's campaign, I'm not going to a blue state, and New York's going to be a blue state. I'm going to a battleground state, one of those 7 states that will determine who wins the White House in 2024.
All right, back in 2016, you predicted Donald Trump was going to win. You felt something on the ground was happening. Do you have any feelings as of yet to what might happen in November?
No, it's really a really interesting cycle, Stevie. We're less than 50 days to go. You're right. I go through the electoral map. I went through the electoral map leading up to the 2016 election, and the numbers came out such that Donald Trump and I said it on your show, Donald Trump was going to win in 2016. I still go through that electoral map every day, and neither candidate right now gets to 270 electoral college votes. That's how close this election is. What I did in 2020, I looked back and I made a determination in terms of the electoral college a week out of the election. And a week out of the election, I said, Pennsylvania is going to go for Joe Biden. And I was right.
Yeah.
So it's too early for me to say, but I will make that determination, as we get closer to November the 5th, for sure.
Do you think there's any time, because it is such an unusual time, is there any chance that something weird happens, like a Virginia all of a sudden?
Yes.
Because early, if you say Virginia's Trump, it's over, I think, unless something real weird happens. But you can't lose a state like Virginia the way it's been going anyway.
That's right. And the same thing, so that's Virginia, and that would be a surprise because I think it will be blue. But same thing with North Carolina. That's a state that Donald Trump won in both 2016 and 2020. But he's spending time there. He's spending resources there, investing in that state. And that could be a surprise. Democrats are similarly investing time and energy, resources in that state as well. But, that's the kind of thing that we'll see as we get closer and closer, whether or not those undecided voters are breaking towards Trump or to Harris.
All right, so they have these polls that we see them all the time, and you go to your favorite one that probably reflects what you believe. But there are these things called internal polls that the campaigns have. What does that mean?
Well, I question those internal polls. I think you get a better sense in terms of what is happening in terms of the polls that are released by respected news organizations. I don't trust, if there's a poll that comes out and go, oh, it's New York Times, they get it right all the time. I don't do that. Or if it's USA Today, they get it right all the time. I think it's more looking at the trends of polls rather than one specific poll to say, that's the one I trust. If you just say, Rasmussen always gets it right, they're 100% right. They don't, they don't. It's more looking at where the trend line is as it relates to certain states. And right now, the trend line, Stevie, is dead heat. It's a dead heat. Pretty much every state you look at that's a battleground state, because even if Trump's ahead, margin of error. Even if Harris is ahead, margin of error, and that's something that you have to factor in.
Well, I remember very vividly way back when, in 1980, they were calling Reagan-Carter a coin flip. And, I don't know. I know we've gotten better at methodology and all the ways we do polling, but man, and that wasn't a close race. But
that wasn't a coin flip.
Supposed to be, and it was supposed to. And I think that was my first vote, and I think I voted for Jimmy Carter because I liked him. I mean, I was at 18 or whatever. How old I was at 20. And so I did more. I had zero idea what was going on. None. I knew interest rates were high, but I didn't know what I mean. I didn't buy a house at that time, so I didn't understand.
Right.
But as you get older, you learn a little more about stuff, I guess, and you go your direction, I suppose. But anyway, so I don't know. And again, there's a feeling of bias out there that I can probably track, and there's definitely more positive media for Kamala, but yet it is still a coin flip, it looks like, based on everything I'm seeing.
Well, it really is. And, whether that bias is apparent, in certain swing states, people generally, that small sliver of the population that would say they're undecided, they're making their decisions not because of, Oprah Winfrey, or Taylor Swift or media coverage. They're factoring it all out, and figuring out which of these two candidates has a better plan for the country for the next 4 years. Who do I feel more comfortable with being the steward of the economy, being the commander-in-chief? Those are the two primary responsibilities for a president, and that's what it all comes down to. And oftentimes the waning days of a campaign is when those undecided swing to one candidate or another.
All right, finally, pretend I'm Kamala Harris.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
I'm going to come out and talk to the media for 2 hours, and you get the first two questions. You ask away. You get the first two questions. I'll be Kamala. I'll tell you what Kamala ought to say. You ask me anything you want, and I'll tell you what Kamala should say.
Good.
Go.
Okay. You want me to go?
Yeah, give me a question. I'm Kamala Harris. John Decker, great television's #1 journalist. What do you got?
Okay, what I got, let me start off with this, Madam Vice President. You say that your values haven't changed, but your positions have changed on a number of issues, including your position as it relates to fracking in Pennsylvania, your position as it relates to private insurance. Explain to me actually what that means when you say your values haven't changed. Your positions have changed, Madam Vice President.
My values have always remained the same on different things, but when it comes to fracking and single-payer insurance, look, we all run to the left in a primary. Look, I've learned in 5 years of being under Joe Biden. We evolve. I mean, this is a time when we must come together as America. I'm from a middle-class family. And I wanted you to know.
Gotta get that.
So there you go. I could give her. I could be an earbud in her ear and just tell her what to say, for crying out loud.
You're channeling the Vice President. That is an impressive feat,
right?
Stevie.
Well,
not many people can do that.
It's just you can talk your way out of it, but she has to address something. She has to come out and just talk to you. Go one-on-one with John Decker. It'll make worldwide news, and you'll ask her fair questions, and she should be able to answer them. That's all.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. I mean, first of all, leading up to the debate, when Donald Trump referred to the Vice President as dumb as a rock or something to that extent, dumb. It's big mistake. Big mistake when you lower expectations of your opponent, and that's what he did leading up to that debate. And, I think it surprised if you listen to Donald Trump, the way he described her, you think that's what you're going to see from the Vice President. That's not what you saw.
No,
and that was a big mistake on his campaign's part, lowering expectations like that.
I agree. John Decker, always a pleasure, sir. We look forward to Thursdays at Pick Your Brain. Have you on.
I do too, Stevie. Thanks for having me on as always, Diane. Thanks again. Always appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk next Thursday.
You got it, my friend. John Decker, great television's outstanding journalist extraordinaire in the White House press room, asking the tough but fair questions. Weather this morning brought to you by Kramer Siding and Window.
Your premier provider for home improvement, specializing in siding, windows, doors, roofing, and outdoor living. Visit KramerSiding.com.
Nathaniel Son, coming up.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois, Champaign, and vicinity, and a little more action on the weather maps and charts over the back end of the weekend, early next week with regard to rainfall prospects. Nothing, though, to significantly curtail early season harvest operations. We'll see a downward trend in temperatures to more seasonal expectations, and the tropics coming out of the southeastern and eastern Gulf and up the eastern seaboard becoming quite active mid to late portions of next week. In the meantime, for the day-to-day, another very warm to hot day's worth of weather and a high temperature expected to top out across the area right around the 90-degree mark. Light east to southeasterly wind becoming southerly. Fair 63 for tonight. Tomorrow very warm, more humid, becoming partly sunny and isolated late morning and afternoon shower thunderstorm. The high back up close to 90. 60s tomorrow night, partly sunny, warm 88 Saturday. Daytime hours Sunday dry, partly sunny and 86. And showers and thunderstorms in here for Sunday night and Monday. High temperatures Monday around 80. Back in the 70s next Tuesday and Wednesday. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
Better banking experiences start with local people and local decision making. Hi, this is Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank. We are a locally owned community bank that has served the area since 1955. Fisher National is rooted in the communities we serve. We pride ourselves on providing financial resources that match or better the mega banks. We are your friends and neighbors who are involved in your communities and take a vested interest in seeing our customers thrive and prosper. Offering a line of rewarding consumer-centric deposits, home mortgages, small business banking, and agricultural lending. There are no compromises banking local with Fisher National. Our convenient online and mobile tools are second to none. We'll work hard to meet your financial needs and earn your trust. Learn more about Fisher National at fishernational.com or stop by one of our branches. Our team looks forward to serving you.
Fisher National Bank. Exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC.
Thursdays, I really look forward to Nathaniel's son. I reference him much like Daniel's son from Karate Kid, so that you know that he's like Brother Johnny, he's my brother.
Right.
Nathaniel's son, he's my son.
I like that.
Nathaniel's son in Chicago. Did you know? How are you?
Hey, Dad, I'm good. You?
Good. Welcome to Thursday morning. Did you know? What you got cooking for us today?
Well, yeah, it's funny you're talking about that. This morning, we're gonna discuss a topic that brings things closer to home as far as this show and specifically this segment. Now, Dad, you were just mentioning that you refer to me as Nathaniel's son, like you said, to reference Karate Kid and also to let you know, or to let everyone know, my relationship to you. But did you know that where this originated from, which we'll say is Karate Kid, is actually not really a reference at all to being a son or kinship or anything, but rather, in Japanese culture, son, spelled S-A-N, added to someone's last name is a sign of respect. It would be the equivalent. The honorable suffix would be added to someone's last name in Japanese culture, and it's the equivalent of thinking of someone as dear or the honorable Mr. and Mrs. Now, if you also remember from Karate Kid, the term sensei was used to refer to the person who taught them karate, and that's also, in Japanese culture, can be used to refer to someone who's a teacher or doctor or professor. So, the next time you do business with someone in Japan, you can add son to their last name, and I think you'll impress some people.
It's honorable, and Mr. Miyagi was the sensei, right? He was the guy that taught Daniel-san.
Yeah.
So when he said Daniel-san, he was saying Mr. or Sir is honorable. S-A-N in Japanese
it's
I
a
get
sign
it.
of respect.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So when I say
for us, we use it.
I use it to say because you're my son, but it's S-A-N in Japanese. Nathaniel-san.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, now I'm treating you as not only my son, but respectfully, which is great. Right? That's exactly right. We want to do.
Dad son or something.
We dad son. Yeah. Well, in our, my mom called my dad Narbi John. Narbi was his name. John, Jon in Armenian is deer.
Okay.
So there's another translation. But anyway, it's
That's funny.
Nathaniel's son, S-A-N. Always a pleasure to have you on Did You Know? Well done, sir. Well done. Well done. Well done. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Nathaniel's son in Chicago. All right, ESPN 93.5. It is 7:56. We got a lot here to play in the next hour. Lots to do. We are also getting you ready for Illinois, Nebraska. And we're your home for the Radio Chicago Bears on Sundays on Q96. If you follow the Bears, you're going to be harvesting or something. You want to listen to it. I think football nowadays is normally a television event. There's no doubt about it. But not everybody can sit in front of a TV.
That's right.
They've got to go do work.
Chicago's in Indianapolis at noon on Sunday.
Yeah, I think the Bears are. I think they're pretty good. I mean, you got to. If I'm the other team, I'm blitzing my rookie quarterback Caleb Williams every time because he's a rookie, and these guys are running 4.4 40s and down linemen. They're crazy, quick and fast and big, and they're out to hurt me. Or at least cream me. So anyway, I'd keep blitzing Caleb Williams, but if he ever figures that out, and he's only played 2 games. So I would think the Bears are good. Their defense is real, and I think they can sniff the playoffs. I really do. We're hoping Q96 will be on the air at 10 a.m. this Sunday morning, pregame 2 hours, then the kickoff in Indianapolis at noon Central Time. Jeff Joniak will join me next Tuesday on the radio at this hour. Probably right after 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So that'll be fun to pick his brain about this year's
go
Chicago
Bears.
Go Bears. All right, going to break for the news and come right back. Another hour to go. A lot of clips to play. I want to play some of the great Gutfield stuff from last night and Donald Trump on that very unique show. We'll do that as well. Glad you're listening. Thursday, September 19, 2024, coming up on 7:59.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Find the look you love for less at Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Explore their wide selection of quality pieces, from cozy sofas to exquisite dining sets from all the top name brands. With personalized service and expert advice, their team makes finding the perfect piece effortless. Create the home of your dreams with Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Exceptional customer service and the best prices since 1959. Stop by today or visit them online at kelseyfurniture.com.
Urbana's Market at the Square has been cultivating a vibrant scene in CU since 1979. Get to know your farmers bringing locally harvested honey, crafts, jewelry, art, fresh cut flowers, plus produce including fresh leafy greens and root vegetables, fresh baked treats, and a wide selection of proteins. Going on now, every Saturday, 7 a.m. till noon, rain or shine at Illinois and Vine, it's Urbana Market at the Square. Find Urbana Market on Facebook or urbanamarket.org.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Unite for America. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Oprah Winfrey's calling her event tonight for Vice President Harris.
While we fight to move our nation forward to a brighter future, Donald Trump and his extremist allies will keep trying to pull us backward.
The vice president addressing the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, critical of the Trump plan for mass illegal immigrant deportations.
How's that going to happen? Massive raids? Massive detention camps?
The former president said in Uniondale, New York last night,
"We're going to get these violent criminals behind bars. We're going to get them out of our country. We're going to take them back to the country from which they came."
It was the first big Trump rally since the second assassination attempt.
These encounters with death have not broken my will. They have really given me a much bigger and stronger mission.
He also thanked the Teamsters for not endorsing Vice President Harris. Leader Sean O'Brien tells Fox,
"You know, the Democrats have always taken for granted that they're going to get our vote no matter what."
The union did not endorse Trump either, but an internal poll of Teamsters members shows a wide majority support him over Harris. A new Fox News poll gives the vice president a 2-point lead nationally and a 12-point edge over Trump among independents. Today, the former president will meet with Jewish leaders as Israeli airstrikes hit Hezbollah in Lebanon after the militants had fired rockets.
That follows a 2-day flurry of violent espionage, pagers, walkie-talkies, and solar equipment all exploding. The total from the electronic sabotage, 37 dead, more than 3,000 injured.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. A vote to fund the government to avert an October shutdown fails as some Republicans oppose 6 months of spending and Democrats oppose a provision requiring proof of citizenship when registering to vote in national elections. House Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox,
"We'll go back to the playbook. We'll draw it up. We're already hearing good ideas from our members, and we got time to fix this, and we'll get it done."
A rally is brewing on Wall Street the day after a 0.5% interest rate cut. Dow futures are surging higher. America's listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
We have an update on what Iran did, hacking into former President Trump's campaign earlier this summer.
Intelligence officials, including the FBI, revealing in late June and early July, Iranian malicious cyber actors sent unsolicited information stolen during Iran's hack on the Trump campaign to individuals then associated with President Biden's campaign. The agency goes on to say there was no information indicating those recipients replied, calling this the latest example of Iran's multi-pronged approach to stoke discord and undermine confidence in our electoral process. The FBI previously revealing Iran had also tried and failed to hack the then Biden-Harris campaign, warning Iran and Russia have been ramping up efforts to try to influence the U.S. election, including with political disinformation campaigns. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
A teenager in Philadelphia accused of planning to go overseas to become a terrorist will be tried as an adult.
Muhyiddin Abdul Rahman faces possessing weapons of mass destruction and other charges. Prosecutors say he was buying bomb-making material and wanted to travel to Syria and become a bomb maker for terrorist groups there. Authorities say he was practicing prior to his arrest in August. Philadelphia Assistant District Attorney Robert Listenby.
He developed bombs in his home and tested those bombs 12 to 20 times
in his backyard and in the woods nearby.
Prosecutors say Abdul Rahman then researched potential targets. He was 17 when he was arrested, but is now 18 and will be tried as an adult.
We concluded that the remaining 3 years in juvenile was not enough.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
He's being held on $5 million bail. Sean Diddy Combs, meanwhile, denied bond a second time as the rapper awaits federal trial on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. We mentioned stock futures surging after an interest rate cut. We also just found out first-time unemployment claims fell last week to their lowest level in 4 months, 219,000. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. A Paxton man arrested for sharing child sexual abuse material. State police began to investigate 37-year-old Brett Sorensen after a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. After the investigation, an arrest warrant issued for Sorensen. He's being held until his arraignment hearing in Ford County. A 16-year-old recovering at the hospital after police say he was shot in Champaign. Police say the shooting happened at Bradley Avenue and Oak Street Monday. Officers got reports someone had been shot there, and when they arrived, they say the 16-year-old from Urbana shot multiple times in the torso. His wounds were potentially life-threatening. OSF Hospital in Urbana celebrating a new breakthrough in how people with heart complications are treated. All to new pacemaker, which makes it easier on patients and their hearts. It's the first of its kind in the area. The new tech has no wires, battery, or scars. The new technology works the same as traditional pacemaker, but it's smaller and leadless, which makes for less invasive installation. Get locally up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
All right, we check our weather forecast. Again, fall is supposed to hit on Sunday, but boy, we don't feel like fall.
In the morning,
right
I think.
now. I mean,
7:30 on the 22nd.
Pretty nice for foot.
Not 9:44, by the way. 9:44 in the morning.
Okay.
Yes.
And Nebraska.
You know what happens when the equinox, don't you?
You can set an egg on its end.
I think.
Not quite. You let it in. Equinox. Get it? Knox. Hello. Ding dong.
I gotcha. I actually had
Feel free to use that between now and
there's a meteorologist here I had on my show probably 40 years ago, and his name is Kevin Gregory.
Okay.
And he went on to kind of be a star in Indianapolis. I don't know if he's still on the TV in Indianapolis or not doing that, but he actually came to the studio and did put an egg on its end.
Okay.
And
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Everything worked. Yeah. Pretty interesting.
You take a soda can, a pop can, and you shake it up, and then if you open up the top of it, it doesn't, explode on you.
Wow.
Ork.
Crazy.
So,
It is meteorologist Greg.
Don't try that.
No, don't do that.
At home.
It's kickoff 7:00 in Lincoln, Nebraska. You said 80-ish or so. So
well, yeah. Now that I have the days of the week, I'm always reliant on you to tell me when we clock in at 7 in the morning. What time?
Generally,
what day?
I don't know. I don't know the day. Everything looks the same every day. It's like deja vu all over again. So what are you? 80 tomorrow night, Lincoln. Pretty good weather. No problem there then.
Right. You're probably closer to 85 now. They're going to be up around 91, 92 there, but the air is going to be much drier, so there ought to be a pretty quick drop-off relative to low 90s in the afternoon, 84, 85 at kickoff, and then fall back from there. No rain. We've taken the rain out of the forecast completely at Grand Island. So kind of the way it's been around here for football the past few weeks. Yeah. So be ready for that. Out the door this morning, nice, comfortable morning. One amazing. We can get to 90 by day and fall to the low 50s at night. We're up near 60 now at Rantoul, 59 Bloomington, Normal, Danville 57, 59 over at Willett and Savoy. This is the slightest of a easterly wind. Once again, one of these rinse and repeat forecasts across east central Illinois for the next couple of days, with a very warm to hot September day and an afternoon temperature right around about the 90-degree mark. We'll keep it fairly comfortable as well for tonight, but humidity still and dew points will climb a bit. Overnight readings down to about 63 tomorrow. Very warm, more humid, and there may be a stray shower late morning, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm in 1 or 2 spots. The high at around 80 down to 90. I don't think any of that will impact Friday night high school football action. Upper 80s Saturday, 86 on the so-called first day of autumn on Sunday. Now, we do cool to about 80 on Monday, and then 70s for highs, mid to upper 70s Tuesday to Thursday. Better coverages and maybe half to 3/4 of an inch worth of rain between Sunday night and Monday, and boy, we need it. The entire state abnormally dry or moderately drought-ridden. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
Well, we got Saturday coming up tomorrow. We were on Saturday in a couple of days. I'm off on the days too. And we're curious about the conditions for Broadland's Homecoming Festival.
Well, I'm more curious about Dennis Riggs and his career and his life, because he and I kind of were radio partners back in the late 1970s when you were doing Saturday morning, and I was, the same level. Midnight to 6, Sunday to Monday. Nobody was on, and nobody listened midnight to 6. That's my level.
The Dennis new kid on the block. There he was.
You were Saturday morning, man. Dennis Riggs is in our studio. It's a pleasure. Former owner of the Sydney Dairy Barn, still a farmer, still kind of an entrepreneur. Jack of all trades.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. He really
and,
mix it up.
Riggs Brewery is your son, Matt. And
Yep.
Too bad that hasn't worked.
No,
It's
it's been a disaster.
Yeah, really a shame nobody ever goes.
And people show up out there all the time to see how big of a disaster it really is.
That's right.
Especially this weekend for Oktoberfest. There'll just be a few people.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. And then Megan, your daughter, is a teacher at Heritage and in the elementary school level.
Yeah, she's been teaching third grade, but she took a new position as an overall curriculum coordinator.
Before we get into Broadland's Homecoming Festival schedule for Saturday, how tall was Stan Winkie in 6th grade? Wasn't he like a giant? Kind of like Marvin Coker was 6'4" in 6th grade?
He was just wider.
But he was tall, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, we were about the same. I was about 6'2". He might have been 6'3".
In 6th grade?
Oh, in 6th grade.
6th or 7th or 8th grade. In grade school, Philo played ABL all the time.
Yes.
And you guys were tough. I mean, Johnny still talks about the game. I think they beat you one to go to district or sectional. He remembers one time Philo beat Stan and Dennis. It was that kind of a team. It was really, really good. But see, we're going back old lore stuff. We're talking a long time ago.
That's way back there. Yeah.
Well, and to think of Stan's legacy of coaching and all of that. Do you keep in touch with him?
I see him every once in a while. He's got a grandson.
6'6",
goes to St. Joe.
350 or something. He's like 6'6".
Yeah.
The grandson's like playing at St. Joe's.
He's Amazon.
Ginormous. He looks like the Blindside guy.
He looks like Stan.
I see.
Stan's about 6'6", though. I mean,
that's true.
This kid's huge.
Yeah, the kid fills up a football uniform real nice.
And the very personable Dennis Riggs, happy to have you in the studio. I don't know if you've ever done this.
No. Why haven't we?
I have no idea.
Nice.
You got the personality. Broadland's Homecoming Festival schedule. You miss a meeting? How do you get roped into helping with this?
Yeah, that's about right. Because my daughter's the head of it. That's what it is.
That's how it works. So this is a full day in Broadland.
Oh, it is. We're having a blast down there. That's right.
And it's been going on a while. It follows Heritage's homecoming then?
No, way back. I mean, we're talking, 70 years or so. There was a big horse show that they had. For Broadlands to have a fall festival has been like forever. So we're just trying to keep it going.
There'll be a lot of people. Where do I park?
Oh, we'll find you a spot.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you kind of drive around and find stuff.
We don't yellow any lines
Okay,
out, so you just do wherever you want to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just don't block any driveways. All right, so you get going at 9 o'clock with the Myron Luth Memorial Softball Tournament. You got the Cute Baby Contest at 10. You got Kids Bike and Pet Parade at 11. Kids Tractor Races at 12:15. People are going to have a place to go to look at all this, maybe a website or something. But
it's on Facebook, I think, under the
Yep.
Broadlands Improvement Group. Big.
That's correct.
So they've got it listed. And then the tractors are downtown in Broadlands, and it's kind of fun to see the big tractors near where the kids are doing their little tractor races.
We're kind of taking the heritage look at it. Not heritage as the high school, but history, back in the history. We're asking people that when they bring their tractors in, to bring the history of that tractor. How long has it been on the farm? Who all owned it? What have you used it for?
Yeah.
So that's one big thing. Then we've got Terry Henson, who's an alumni also down there, and she's picked out 10 families, and they're going to have displays set up at the firehouse of their family history and around the Broadlands area. So we're trying to work in a little bit of the history of the Broadlands area.
Well,
did you know that Broadlands had a radio station?
Really?
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, way back. It was way back. Yeah,
1940s?
It ran on kerosene.
Well, what happened to it?
No doubt your station put them out of business, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that has some history to it. If you had a radio station in Broadlands.
There's a couple of paragraphs about it in the Broadlands history book, and I had the call letters, but I don't. And it was AM. Of course, it was an AM station.
Yeah. That's back in the day.
It was way back there.
Well, it's cool